grandfather was right about one thing, though. You are really cute.
Today's video is sponsored by the Amino app. Need somewhere to fangirl or fanboy or just what? Then the Amino app is for you. Amino is where you can connect with different communities or fandoms and share what you love with one another. Need a place to discuss your husbando or waifu with others? Fear no more, the Otome Amino has got you covered. Here I can share my love for fictional characters and while checking out posts about said characters in my spare time while even making a friend or two. Friendship, people. It's a great thing. You can have discussions, take quizzes, vote in polls, share some fan art, or just hang out in the chat rooms and gush over these wonderful characters. Want to talk about how much you love Seven from Mystic Messenger? Or what about Kent from Amnesia Memories? Or maybe it's your husband Eric from Seduce Me. So if you want to connect with others with the power of fandomism, is that even a word? Then download the Amino app for free in the description below. And join the Otome Amino community. And hey, I'll make this interesting for you. I'll be posting up a poll in the Otome Amino app for which is the best incubi brother from Seduce Me. I think you guys know which one is my favorite. You can vote now and even follow me on there. AGirlAndAGame. I hope to see you guys there and thank you so much to the Amino app for sponsoring this video. Hey internet, it's Jessica and welcome back to Seduce Me, the Otome. So we are gonna take a look at another side route, which happens to be Andrew, the dude who was kind of wanting to be like part of the CEO of the Anderson Toy Company, if you guys remember. He had a little scene during the party and whatever. I decided to do his route first and then we'll take a look at Naomi a little bit later. Because I'm kind of curious about like what's gonna happen here, because he's not exactly a friend or anything, he's just some random guy. So let's see what his storyline is about. Okay, that's right, he's the son of the vice chairman, so he's part of the company, but he wants to be like CEO. With my mother stood a man who looked only a couple of years older than me. He smiled and held out his hand to me, silently asking for my hand.
Hi, I'm Andrew Lewis. It's a pleasure to meet you, Miss Anderson.
For some reason, I thought his voice would be different. I kind of forgot like what he sounded like because it's been so long, but I don't know. Here, take my hand. As I placed my hand in his, he raised it to his lips and kissed it over my knuckle. I felt my face burn slightly at the gesture. Andrew smiled at me before releasing my hand. Okay, I know that's like a whole, like, oh, I'm being a gentleman, let me just kiss your hand and whatever. But I just feel like if you were to do that now, that'd be kind of weird. You know what I mean? Like, if someone did that to me and I don't know them, I would think that was a really weird gesture. I don't know.
I'm honored to be invited here.
Cool. My mother smiled at both of us, which made me slightly concerned. Why was she excited to introduce me to Andrew? I think the mom wants us to get together. I think that's the whole point.
So, you organized this party very well, Miss Anderson.
I only known you for like 5 seconds. Hey, nice party you have here. Thank you?
You're welcome. Praise is very much deserved.
Why is he so robotic? I don't know. Andrew then chuckled nervously, bringing a soft fist to his lips to cover his laugh properly before smiling at me.
I'm sorry if I seem a little forward. I've just been excited to meet Harold Anderson's granddaughter.
Are you excited to meet me, or you just want the company, dude? What's your motive here? Huh? Why?
He used to talk about you all the time in the office on how you helped him refine his toys. I only attended meetings and heard all of the stories. You helped a lot with the success of the company without having to actually work there.
Okay, buddy. Oh, wow, I didn't know he talked about me. That would explain everyone's fascination with me and their rather personal questions. I looked to Andrew, who had a kind face to me. Something about him seemed off, and I didn't know what it was. He seemed to be hiding something. Whether it was good or bad, I was not able to find out. Yeah, you can see it in his eyes, right? He seems like a shady guy. I felt someone walk up beside me, causing me to turn to them. Next to me was my dad, giving me a cold stare to Andrew, who suddenly became tense.
So, you're Jared's son.
Andrew's body twitched slightly. Whether it was for fear or insult, Andrew locked eyes with my father. I couldn't help but feel the tension between them. It irked me how fragile the air had become, enough to break at the wrong word.
You're the one who wants to be the next CEO of the Anderson Company.
Dun dun dun!
Well,
I stared at Andrew. This guy wanted to take my grandfather's place as CEO? I thought the vice chairman wanted the position.
David, leave the poor boy alone.
I'm merely testing the boy's conversational skills. Nothing wrong with that.
Of course not, sir.
And polite as well. Interesting.
Why is the dad grilling him? What the hell? Quickly, Andrew retreated away from my family into the crowd of people. I mean, we have to follow him, right? So, I quickly followed Andrew, wanting to be sure he was alright. I felt a little embarrassed that my dad put him on the spot like that. I had to apologize. We wound up outside. The stars practically danced on the grass as we stood in the backyard of the mansion. It had been my first time in years being out there, but my thoughts weren't on nostalgia. Hey, Andrew? Andrew turned to me in surprise. However, his face was completely red in both embarrassment and humiliation. I felt terrible. Yeah, I kind of feel bad. Like, all of a sudden these people come out of nowhere and they start grilling you. That's kind of, like, very inappropriate.
Oh, I didn't see you or hear you following. Sorry.
No, it's fine. I should be the one to apologize.
What for? You didn't do anything wrong.
I mean for the way my dad had behaved. He shouldn't have been so...
Oh, no, it's fine. I mean, I should have expected it and been more prepared.
Haha, don't worry about me. I expected people to insult me to my face. Andrew rubbed the back of his neck and gave a goofy grin. It was intriguing to see Andrew's professional side and then seeing a goofy smile away from everyone. Still, I'm sorry for that.
It's not a problem, really, but thank you.
We both smiled at each other before I reached my hand out to him. He tilted his head and raised an eyebrow in confusion. Jessica. My name is Jessica. And understanding, his smile returned before he took my hand gently and shook it.
That's a pretty name. I'm happy to know it now.
Thanks. Nah, it's not that nice.
I have to disagree with you. It's much better than Andrew. I mean, who names their kid Andrew?
Your mom? A lot of people do.
How about Axel or Ace? Something cool.
Oh
like
my
that.
god, he's one of those people. Jesus. I couldn't help but laugh at him. He was pretty chill for a guy who was supposed to be vice chairman's son. He grinned and laughed along with me. I don't know why, but I felt warm. Whether it was from the almost non-existent breeze or the situation we found ourselves in, it felt nice.
Lewis.
What is the dad falling? Get out of here, Dad! And just like that, the feeling had vanished. We both turned to see my dad at the doors of the mansion staring at Andrew with an almost deadly glare. Andrew straightened up, trying to maintain a business posture.
Yes, sir?
Your limo is in the front. The driver has requested that you return home. Now.
Oh, all right. Thank you, sir.
Andrew quickly nodded to me before speeding back into the mansion to leave. As I took a step to follow, my dad stepped in front of me. Dad?
I don't want to hear it. Do not become friendly with him. He wants to take the company away from us. You have no reason to be friends with him.
Okay, sure, that could be a possibility, but you know, you would think I would be the judge of that, right? Not you, Dad. Before I could retort, my dad turned away and walked back inside, muttering about how the party was nearing an end. I sighed and entered the house as well, waiting for the party to end immediately. Eventually, only Suzu, Naomi, my parents, and the incubi were left. My dad looked at me in slight disappointment. I looked back at him in confusion. What did I do?
I overheard your conversation with our guests. You were stumbling as much as Lewis did.
Okay, that's interesting because, like, you know, the choices where all the people are asking you, like, Mika, like, oh, what are you gonna do with the company, whatever. I just picked random stuff just to get to Andrew, so that's interesting that the dad brought this up. Okay, so this is after the incubi are, like, training to fight Malix and whatever. It was Sunday and I felt the need to see my grandfather. It had been 3 days since he had been buried and the cemetery was only a short walk away. I decided to see him. I took my time eating and heading out to the street to walk towards the cemetery. It was a good half-hour walk, but it would be a nice stroll. A flower shop was on the way so I could pick up flowers for his grave. I still felt the sting of grief run through my bones, but I knew that it would eventually fade over time. I paused my journey to the cemetery to enter the flower shop, quickly picking a bouquet from the back display and paying. The bouquet of lilies, please. Thank you. With flowers in my hand, I made my way to the large steel gates of St. Joseph's Cemetery. I entered and felt a cold shiver of death run through the air against my skin. Would it always be like this? The cemetery was a final resting place. It wasn't just for mourning or sadness. It was supposed to be a place of remembrance. I sighed as I walked through the cemetery towards my grandfather's grave. Before I could reach it, though, I noticed a figure standing by the slab. Huh? Who's that? I stopped walking and tried to focus my sight on to see who was standing at my grandfather's grave before I approached. I didn't want to interrupt a prayer or anything, but even more, I wanted to know who exactly was there. My mind barely considered the idea was my father, but it couldn't have been him. Familiar brown hair crowned on this person's head, instead of a black and gray my father had. He was vaguely familiar. Andrew? Why does Andrew always look like distressed when I see this kid? It was indeed Andrew. He was dressed in casual clothes, but he was giving his respect to my grandfather. I was curious as to why. I quietly stepped closer and approached Andrew in the grave, being careful not to scare Andrew. At my footsteps, Andrew turned to see me, and realizing it was me, he turned fully to me.
Oh, Miss Anderson. I'm sorry. I'll just...
Andrew quickly shook his head and took a step to leave. No, you're fine. You don't need to go, dude. I stopped him with a hand and smiled. He was merely paying his respects. There was no need for me to intrude. Andrew stared at me before smiling and nodding, returning to his place in front of the grave. He took a sidestep to make room for me, so I stepped next to him. I looked to the grave, running a gaze through the engraving on the stone slab before gently laying my bouquet down on it. However, I didn't stand back up. I gently sat down on the grass in front of the grave and stared at it.
Lilies?
Common flowers for gravestones, yeah? My grandfather didn't have a favorite flower. I heard and felt Andrew gently crouch down and sit beside me. I turned my head back to look at him, catching him nodding in acknowledgement to my statement. I turned back to the grave, letting out a small sigh. So, can I ask why you came here?
I came to pay my respects. He was someone I really idolized.
I turned my head to him and, again, confused. Idolized?
Mm-hmm. He inspired me to work hard and make people happy. When I interned for his company, he was the first person to greet me at the doors with open arms, even before my father.
I almost couldn't believe what I was hearing. However, the look on Andrew's eyes made my heart break. He truly idolized my grandfather like he was his own grandfather.
Your grandfather was an amazing man, but I'm sure I don't have to tell you that. He treated me better than my dad ever could. All my dad cares about is me becoming the CEO. But Harold Anderson? No.
I had like a very, very bad thought just then when he was just like, he treated me like his own grandson rather than my own father or whatever. I'm just like, what if the reason why the dad hates this kid so much is because he's like actually like a grandson to this guy or like a secret son to the grandfather? That would be so messed up if that was the storyline. I could practically feel my lips move in sync with Andrew's as he continued to speak, almost hearing my grandfather speak along with him in the air.
He said, "Don't worry about it so much. You have plenty of time to decide. Besides, you should do what makes you happy instead." He said, "Don't worry about it so much. You have plenty of time to decide. Besides, you should do what makes you happy instead."
He said that to me too. Andrew turned to me in surprise before smiling.
Really? He cared a lot about you. There were days that he wouldn't stop talking about you and compared you to me.
I felt a blush run across my face. What things did he say?
Well, he told me how cute you were and how you loved to make people happy. He also said you always had the perfect ideas for his toys.
I felt a smile grow on my face, remembering the small moment when I had helped him design his now most popular toy, the glowing heart bear. I didn't realize how proud of me he was because I was so small, but now that I was older, I was able to understand. He had always had me help him, even when I didn't feel like I could. He was the greatest person ever in my life. He treated me better than my dad.
How does your dad treat you?
Well, I don't know, Andrew. You saw at the party. He's pretty harsh to me. He wants me to be CEO of the company as well, since it's technically a family business.
He's strict, like my dad. Well, if it ever came to a time where the board had to decide a CEO, I'd gladly give it up for you.
I couldn't help but raise an eyebrow. Didn't he want the position? Why? Don't you want to be CEO? To my surprise, Andrew shook his head with a goofy smile.
I don't. My dad wants me to take over the Anderson company, but I really am not sure if I want to or not. Sure, making toys is great and helping people is something I want to do, but I don't know if I want to head the company.
See, you know, these freaking parents trying to force these kids to do something that they don't, they should stop doing that. You're just making everyone unhappy. You're not sure what you want to do, just like me.
You don't want to be a CEO either?
I shook my head. Andrew let out a small laugh.
Man, we must be the worst kids on the planet. Our dads want us to take over a company, but we don't even want to. Imagine what would happen if they actually liked each other.
I couldn't help but laugh with him. We were in the same boat, yet we were on opposite sides. It was like Romeo versus Juliet, two families competing for one goal. But the competitors didn't even want to try to reach the goal. Andrew gently stopped laughing and smiled at me.
Your grandfather was right about one thing, though. You are really cute.
Oh! way to blurt that out. I don't know why. I feel like that's such an inappropriate time to be like, hey, by the way, you're really cute. We're standing or sitting in front of, like, the grandfather's grave. What a time to be flirting. The blush that had faded from my face suddenly returned at his words. I looked away from him, making him laugh again.
Sorry, it's true. Cross my heart.
Oh my god. Thanks. He was flattering me. I had to admit he was cute too, but I only had known him for a short while. It wasn't realistic to like him more than that. Excuse me, Mika. What about the freaking Incubi brothers? You've only known them for a few days too, and you're like, well, I'm in love with them now. Andrew cleared his throat and sat up straight, rubbing the back of his neck. I'll let you have some time with your grandfather. I don't have anywhere to be, so I'll wait by the gates and give you a ride home when you're done. No. I need a free ride. I don't want to walk anywhere. Alright. It was very sweet of him to wait for me, so I accepted his ride home. Andrew smiled before heading back to the gates. I remained with my grandfather. I'm sure you're laughing where you are, Grandpa. I practically glared at the grave, but after a brief second I smiled. He's a sweet guy and a big fan of yours. Who wouldn't be? You cared for everyone, no matter who they were. I gently ran a finger over one of the lilies in the bouquet. It was soft to the touch, but my mind was filled with Andrew for some reason. Was this grandfather's plan? Did he hope for me to meet Andrew as a kindred spirit? I wouldn't be surprised. I chuckled softly before standing. I'll be fine, Grandpa. Andrew's a good guy, but who knows? I shrugged before letting out a sigh and turning my back to the cemetery gate, where Andrew awaited me. Andrew led me into the car and drove me home. I went to my room and remained there until dinner. Okay, and in comes Diana, so we gotta give up the memories, and then we forget about the boys, and then we end up with Andrew, so here we go. Hey, I know you have school today, but do you want to hang out after? Sure! I couldn't help a small smile from growing on my face. Andrew was sweet and seemed like a good guy. I remember how he gave me his number as he dropped me off at home from my visit to grandfather's grave, making my small smile bigger. I chuckled and texted back. Sorry, I gotta study, Sure, why not?
Dude, you've been spacing out all day. Are you okay? Before
I could continue, I heard Lysette, a gaggle of girls giggling nearby. I prepared myself, ready to fight Lysette, or deal with another attack from her girl army, before turning to the sound. I felt my face go red at the sight. Oh, okay. Andrew was standing in the hall, smiling at me. The girls around him seemed flirtatious, but he only kept his eyes on me. It wasn't like he was holding flowers, but his older looks made him the cutie of the school hall. Okay, aren't you not supposed to go on school grounds if you're not in the school? So this is kind of awkward, right? I will be honest, he was much more handsome than any guy in the school. Andrew, hi. Hey, I was waiting outside for you, but I needed to use the restroom. I hope you don't mind me coming into your school for that. I don't care, but if a teacher sees you, they might throw you out. No, it's fine. You gotta pee, I guess. Andrew smiled at me before gesturing to my friends, who both practically had their jaws hitting the floor. And who are your friends? Oh, this is Naomi and Zuzu.
Pleasure. Yo.
They looked at me, giving me their silent friendship. Oh my god, who's the hot guy and how did you know him? Look. I glared for half a second at each of them before smiling to Andrew. So you came to pick me up? Yeah, I figured I could drive you from school to wherever, Save some time and stuff. Unless you don't wanna. No, it's cool. Just give me a couple of seconds, alright? For sure. I'll be outside. As I looked at Naomi and Zuzu, they glared at me. What?
How did you know that guy? When did you two meet?
Wait, did no one see that at the party I was talking to him?
You've been hogging guys to yourself.
It's not like that, okay? We met at the house party and my mom introduced us and, well, he's kind of nice. Naomi and Zuzu raised their eyebrows at me in an almost perfect sync. I sighed. Look, we're just friends and he wanted to hang out, so I said yes, okay? It's just for today. It's nothing, really.
Whatever you say. Just remember to use rubber.
Zuzu, please! You guys!
Oh, what about this guy? You're going on a date?
It's just hanging out.
So, we can come with, right?
No!
No way, Suzu. You have to babysit Francesca, and I have to go to a college interview.
I turned and smiled at my friends. Trust me, I'll be fine. It's just hanging out. I'll text you both when I get home. Like a pair of adorable parents, Naomi and Zuzu nodded before heading out, leaving me to head after Andrew. I smiled to see him leaning against the car, waiting. He seemed alright, and luckily he wasn't surrounded by girls. Andrew smiled and waved me over. I rushed over and smiled back. Hi. Hi. Like a gentleman, Andrew opened the door for me, gesturing me inside, and I stepped inside and sat down before he closed the door and circled in to get to the driver's seat. We pulled out of the parking lot and began to drive. To where? I didn't know, but I trusted Andrew to stay local since it was just hanging out.
Look, I know this seems weird, me picking you up and stuff.
A little bit.
But I promise you'll love where we're going.
And where are we going exactly?
It's a cafe. The Pink Lady Cafe. The best cinnamon rolls around, and their coffee is to die for.
Great, everyone wants to go here. I've actually been there before.
Really? Oh, crap. I thought it would be a surprise. Damn.
I laughed. He seemed to want to impress me. Why, though? I let the idea slip as well as we fell back into silence. It was peaceful, but at the same time, I didn't know how to talk to Andrew. The only thing that connected us was the company and my grandfather. He was funny, sure, but he was still somewhat of a stranger. How about them bears? Andrew let out a laugh. I didn't know what was so funny, but seeing him laugh made me laugh a bit too.
I'm a doofus. I don't watch sports. I barely know anything about sports.
That's okay. Not even if you're a Cubs or a Sox fan?
I'm from the north side. Take a guess.
So Cubs.
That's right.
We both laughed again. Chicago sports talk was a silly topic, but it was a start. It was better to chat on the road than listen to the car buzz.
You know, my mom always thought I'd go into sports. My dad wrecked that dream of hers real quick when he sent me to college prep. Meh, that was 6 years ago, though.
Oh, okay. Really? How old are you?
I'm 20, turning 21 in July. Why?
Making sure you're not a pedophile or anything. And you're in line for CEO position? So young.
Why not? You are too, remember?
I was 18 and being pushed to be CEO. My dad would force me to try to take the position right after I graduate. I sighed at the thought.
Did I say something wrong?
No, it's nothing. I saw Andrew's lips pressed together. He was blaming himself. Shoot, I opened my mouth to say something before I smiled.
Well, just so you know, I'm the kind of guy that likes to stop the microwave at 1 second just to feel like I'm defusing a bomb. Pretty cool, huh?
This guy's such a dork! I couldn't help but laugh. Where did that come from?
Well, you sighed, so I took a risk and tried to make you smile. I got a laugh, so 10 bonus points for me.
Okay, I'll give it to him. He's the kind of guy who likes to make people laugh. It's good, it's good. I laughed and smiled at him as he kept his eyes on the road. He also had a smile, though, the same goofy grin he had before. I have to admit, it was cute. However, the car suddenly began to play a song suddenly. I watched as Andrew effortlessly move his hand from the wheel and press the button on his dash. His phone was connected to the car?
Andrew Lewis speaking.
Andrew, can you come to the office for a little bit? Your father needs a few folders and he left them here. They're in the meeting room.
Really? Crap. Okay, I'll be there shortly.
He pressed the same button on the dash and sighed, slumping his shoulders.
I'm sorry. Can we stop by the Anderson office really fast? It's on the way and it'll be really quick.
Sure. Yeah, sure, I guess. Andrew nodded before traveling towards the city. I had only seen the building once, but it was the base of operations for the Anderson Toy Company. I never went inside, and I was truly unsure if I ever wanted to. I'd have to eventually, but until then I remained ignorant of how the office looked. There was curiosity, yes, but I didn't know if I wanted to follow through with it. We pulled into the parking lot of a gigantic office building with the company's name in bold letters at the top. I had to roll down my window and peek my head out to see the top. Yep, still as big as I remembered it.
I'll zip in and zip out. It's just to pick up some documents, nothing special.
We're probably gonna have to follow in, right? I think so.
Huh? Are you sure?
Yeah, might as well see the inside after 18 years. I exited the car and closed the door, walking to be at Andrew's side. The building was huge, I had to admit, but I needed to fill my curiosity in my gut. What was it like on the inside? Andrew and I made our way inside, and as he guided me to where we needed to go. All the while, I took in the sight. It was a corporate office, but it had that hint of fun flair with toys in every corner and every desk. I felt a smile grow on my face at the sight. This was my grandfather's company, all right. Andrew and I entered the meeting room, where a pile of folders, toppled with a strangely familiar purple pencil, sat neatly on the table.
All right, there they are. Let's get them and...
What is going on here?
My blood ran cold at the voice, and I know that voice anywhere. I turned to see my very angry father glaring at me and Andrew and blocking the doorway out. Andrew turned with the documents he needed in hand and almost dropped at the sight of my dad.
Mr. Anderson,
Lewis, why is my daughter with you?
None of your business! How about that?
Well, sir, I was just...
Stop mumbling!
I recognized those words and grew furious at the sound of them leaving his mouth. Why was he so mad? What was so wrong about me being with Andrew? What was his deal? Speak up! Screw you, Dad! Enough was enough. I stepped forward, placing myself between my dad and Andrew. I came with Andrew after school. We were going to go out to a cafe together.
What did I tell you about?
When did you get to decide who I'm with? I don't live under your roof anymore. I live in grandfather's house. I can take care of myself. I can choose who I want to be close to. I could practically feel the red anger rising into my dad's face. But at this rate, I didn't care. He had been controlling for long enough. I don't have to listen to you anymore. I have my own life now. I can go to college, get a degree, and do what I want. I guess I have to thank you for making me work endlessly for good grades and scholarships. I felt my courage bubble up in my gut. I was finally able to fully speak my mind. I wasn't in his house anymore. I was my own woman. The moment you made me move out was the moment you gave up your right to decide what to do with my life. If I want to go to college and travel, then I can go to college and travel. If I want to give up my running for the CEO title, give up the running for the CEO title. If I want to meet with Andrew for cinnamon rolls, then I'm gonna meet with Andrew for cinnamon rolls. My dad stepped back, staring wide-eyed at me. I felt like the slap he gave me was repaid tenfold with just my words. I wasn't a child anymore. I wasn't his pawn anymore. That's right. I don't like the dad because he hit her. Like, I don't understand how you can do that to your own kid. I understand some parents have a problem, like, letting go, whatever. That's somewhat understandable, but this guy's, like, borderline abuse, right? Hit his kid, controlling, emotionally abusing her. Nah. I could do what I wanted to do. Come on, Andrew, let's go. I began to walk towards my father, who stepped back and let me and Andrew pass without another word. I continued walking, retracing Andrew's steps to find the exit of the building. As we reached the car, I let out a large chunk of air I was holding in before getting in. Andrew followed into the driver's seat and looked at me.
Are you okay?
Yeah, much better now.
Let me just say, that was pretty cool.
Thanks! I smiled and gently nudged him. Come on, let's get some cinnamon rolls. Lily and Kay greeted us with happy smiles, giving us cinnamon rolls and coffee practically on the house. I was pretty convinced Kay thought this was a date and wanted to make the situation more romantic than it needed to be. Nevertheless, Andrew and I chatted about ourselves right after college prep. His dad took advantage and got Andrew a job in the company's part-time. However, Andrew only worked there to learn more about grandfathers versus actually trying to learn how to be CEO. I was almost jealous. Soon, though, we had spent the entire afternoon together and it was getting dark and cloudy. Andrew drove me home, picking up some of my Paradise Parlor for dinner, his treat. We stopped at the gates, where Andrews walked up to me to the front door.
I had a fun time. Thanks for coming out and having some coffee with me.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for bringing me out. I smiled as Andrew nodded to me, turning ahead to the car. I stood there watching him leave. When the rain started to fall, Andrew unfortunately was caught under the sun and rain and started racing to his car. As I turned to unlock my door, I heard him stop running.
Wait!
What? I turned back to see him facing me through the rain. He was getting soaked, but he remained looking at me with almost an adoring look in his eyes. What is it? I quickly ran over, stopping as he reached the waning of the mansion, and stared at me. He was totally drenched from the rain, but he didn't seem to care.
Can I be stupid for a moment?
Yeah, you're stupid by standing in the rain, so sure. I guess?
Listen, you're probably the most interesting woman I've ever met. You're not afraid to be you, and that part of you makes you adorable.
I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Was he confessing to me? This was beyond surreal, but he continued.
I know this is stupidly crazy, but I really like you, and I know we've only just met. But I really want to be your friend, and maybe more, but if you're not cool with that, that's okay. I mean, you're way out of my league and stuff,
what
so I'll understand.
Dork! Holy crap, he was confessing. I stared wide-eyed at him as he confessed. What was I going to say? We had just met, but he was cute and funny. What was even weirder was that he reminded me of myself. He had an overbearing father, and one person he cared for was my grandfather. Andrew didn't know his future, and neither did I. It was scary how similar we were. Maybe it was a sign. I could hear my grandfather's laughter, replayed from the distant memory. Was this whole thing a setup by him? Was he setting this up now? Angel or not, I can only set my mind on what was happening now. Andrew had laid out his feelings for me, and I had to reply. The question was, what was I going to say? Sorry! No, sure, I like that! Why not? He was cute and funny, and we seemed to work well together. He was awkward! Can I just say his personality seems very awkward, but it's just mainly because we don't know the guy, and he's trying to be like, look at me, I'm trying to impress this pretty lady! So, maybe he's okay. I smiled at him, and he smiled back with a goofy smile.
Wait, really? Really? Great! Wow.
What a nerd!
I totally thought I was being stupid and was gonna get kicked in the shin or something.
I felt myself let out a laugh. Why would I kick you in the shin?
I don't know. Stupid thought, huh?
Andrew and I laughed before I unlocked the door. Come on, let's get you dried up. The rain should pass soon, so you can stay over until it does.
Oh no, I couldn't possibly...
Dude, you're gonna get sick or something! I insist. Andrew smiled gently and nodded before stepping into my house after me.
Hey, didn't you have servants and stuff?
Huh? What do you mean?
Huh? Never mind. Must have been a party arrangement thing.
Oh, that's very interesting! So, like, wait. Did Diana only erase Mika's memories and forgot about everyone else, right? Months went by since Andrew's confession. We were happily, and eventually my graduation came along. Andrew, who later became my boyfriend, worked hard at the company, but often took time to be with me. We ended up going out and learning about each other more and more each day that went by. As for his family, his mother was extremely happy that he finally got a girlfriend. Surprisingly, I was his first. Oh, this to me was shocking. His father wasn't too thrilled, but after I introduced myself and got to know his parents, his dad came to love me like a daughter. Andrew dedicated himself full-time for the company. Wait, but didn't Andrew say he wasn't sure if he wanted it? So is it just like, just take it, boyfriend, it's yours? Or was he like, I finally decided I wanted it?
Hey, can you come over to the office? I need your help in something.
Okay, yeah, sure, what's wrong?
Come over and I'll explain.
Okay, I'll see you in a bit. I grew worried. What was wrong? Did something happen? My mind began to sort through possibilities that could have occurred with Andrew. Luckily, I learned how to drive and got a car as my graduation gift with my mother. How she managed to get me a brand new car without my dad knowing was beyond me. I quickly drove over and ran through the building, being led to a room with my parents, Andrew's parents, and Andrew himself. Huh? What's going on? I watched as my father stood up and walked over to me. I watched and waited. What was he going to do? To my surprise, my father kissed my head and smiled down at me. Dad?
I'm sorry.
What? What do you mean?
I've been hard on you practically all your life, and here you are, doing what you want to do. Are you happy?
Very much so. Wow, my dad's smile was foreign, but I felt major elation just seeing it. Maybe it was happy to say, but I never imagined I would see a smile like this on him.
I love you, sweetie. You may not have followed the path I wanted you to follow, but if you're happy in the end, then there's nothing else that would make me happier.
Oh damn, Dad, if you did that earlier, maybe I wouldn't think of you as such a dick! I felt my eyes watered. Did he really just say the 3 words I never thought he would say to me? Was this really happening? My dad kissed my forehead before going back to stand near Andrew's father. I looked to Andrew, very confused and grateful to have heard those words. What's going on, Andrew?
You know I love you, right?
Yes, I love you too. Before I knew it, Andrew walked over to me and held my hands. I stared up at him, wondering what was going on.
I love you a lot. You're sweet, funny, courageous, and absolutely wonderful. I couldn't have asked for a better girlfriend.
Andrew? Andrew brought my hands to his lips and kissed over my knuckles.
It's been a couple of years since we've been going out, hasn't it?
Yeah? Yes, it has. Andrew, you're avoiding the question.
I know, but for good reason.
And what reason is that? Andrew smiled and took a small box from his pocket. I stared wide at it as he opened it before me and got on one knee. I'm sorry, this is so awkward. Okay, for me, I don't like it when, like, people, like, do proposals out in public, because sometimes it's like an intimate moment, you know what I mean? Sometimes you don't want to share that with other people. It's like between you and your partner or whatever, and I feel like, I get it's their family, so it's not that bad, but I just feel like it should be like between them. If I were her, I'd feel really awkward. I don't know.
This is all very sudden, I know, but I want you to know that I care for you so much, and I want to continue caring for you as long as I live. I definitely don't deserve you, but will you marry me?
I felt my heart beating wildly in my chest. He was proposing! He was proposing! I couldn't stop myself from jumping up and down in happiness. Yes! Yes, I will! Oh, that's kind of cute! It's just awkward because everyone's in the room, but whatever! Andrew smiled widely at me as tears started falling down my cheeks. He stood and wrapped his arms around me before he kissed me lovingly. I felt Andrew slip the ring onto my ring finger as I kissed back, uncaring of the cheering going on in the room. I could hear that more people had entered and started celebrating our engagement, but I didn't mind. Andrew gently pulled away and smiled down at me.
I love you.
Feeling bold, I stretched up on my tippy toes, kissing him with the exact amount of love he gave me. He was shocked, but I felt him relax in my arms. He kissed me back. I didn't want to wake up if this was indeed a dream. I felt light as a feather, not wanting to ever let go of this man in my arms. There was no words that could describe the emotions within me. I felt joy, happiness, ecstatic high all at once. Here I was, holding the man I wanted to be with for the rest of my life like nothing else mattered. I vowed to cherish him and love him for the remainder of my days and beyond. And that was my happily ever after. Hey! Andrew's proposal! We did it! Alright, so that was the ending for Andrew's little mini route, or whatever you want to call it. It was nice. Obviously, Andrew's not, like, my type of character, the very awkward, like, shy kind of person. That's not, like, really my type. But I did think he was funny. Like, I'll give him that. He was funny. I just find it very interesting that some of the elements that were played, growing into Lysette and kind of, like, elevating Mika to stand up for herself, unknowingly to her, it was kind of like Andrew's help. It's kind of funny, like, since, like, they were similar, but it did help her kind of stand up for herself and do what she want. I just felt awkward at the end there, because I'm just like, it's weird, you're proposing, then all of a sudden all these people kind of come into the office and be like, yay, congratulations! I don't know, I feel like that should have been a moment between those two. But still, some people like it when they propose to in front of other people, but to each their own. Anyway, that comes to the end of another side route in the Seduce Me series. There's one more left, and that is for Naomi, the other friend of Mika, so I will get to that eventually. If you guys enjoyed this video, remember to leave a like, let me know in the comments what you think, and if you want to watch any other Seduce Me episodes, I have a link to all the playlists of Seduce Me 1, 2, all the episodes and whatever, all of that in the description. Please also check out Micheala Laws, who is the creator of this game and the voice of Diana. She is also a good friend of mine and very lovely, so if you want to buy her other games, I highly recommend you do. She is currently working on her latest game called All For You, which is another dating sim. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. She also has a demo for that game if you want to try it out. It's very good. I like it. Okay. But aside from that, yeah, remember to subscribe and hit the bell button so you know when I upload the next episode of Seduce Me. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye! I have the most awful feeling that it wasn't the answer she was looking for. No! Did I kill her? I can see how the woman's fingers tighten around Hannah's throat. Hear her hit creepy. And sometimes that brings people together in a not so cute way. Here are 6 terribly awkward romances in video games. Number 6. Cole and Elsa.